Hey guys, I want to do something a little bit new today. I'm going to do something called a Let's Sit and Talk About. It's not really a review, but it's close to that. I'm going to take a seat here. But, yeah. I want to talk to you about this knife here. This is very chilled. Maybe short, maybe long, I don't know. Just you and me, you know, you and the viewer. But there's one point I want to make out. I don't like cold steel. Now, don't get me wrong, I like this knife. But cold steels in general, I just don't like. Now, a lot of their blades I do like, but a vast majority of them, kind of like Spyderco, just don't like them. And I'll explain to you some of those reasons. First of all being, like, the AK-47, super light. And I don't really like light blades. Now, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of cold steels are heavy. Just that none of them are in my price range. And, you know, Kenan, what are you talking about? That's an expensive knife you're holding there. Well, I got this for a really good price. Like a fourth of the price. MSRP. And it was barely used. Most of the wear you see on this was put on by me. So, another point, I don't like deep carry knives. And this isn't, you know, deep carry, but I like to see this move just a little bit lower. What is on my hands? Oh, you know what? I just did an acid etching video, and I got some purple gunk on it. I like to see this just a little bit lower, right here. So, yeah. Another reason, let's line this up with the Ripple here. Here's the Ripple. Love this knife. But I consider this, well, alright, let me backstep here. My definition of small knives is borderlined by the blur. The blur is where I cross a boundary between having a small knife to a medium-sized knife. So, this blur is right there. Check this out. Almost the same size. Why am I only carrying this much blade? More or less lining it up with the pivot, you know. With the pivot point. That's ridiculous. One of my huge pet peeves, probably the biggest pet peeve I have, is that if I'm carrying a knife that's a full-size handle, I want the same size blade. That's just the way it is. Even though this CRKT Ripple, kind of a small to medium-sized knife for me, the blade to handle ratio is almost perfect. I mean, as you can see, now this has a strong detent, so I don't know how I can do this without it sucking into the handle, but you see right there. Let me focus it in. There you go. Right there. I mean, really, if it were any longer, I'd be able to stick my thumb meat in there and slice my finger open. So this knife takes the cake for me. Now, let's do a little checklist here. Light blade, don't really like that. Now, not deep carry, not too deep carry. I like this, I can deal with this. But I don't like deep carry. And blade to handle ratio, not right at all. That is so jacked up, I didn't think I would even consider liking this knife. Why do I like this knife? Well, in case you haven't noticed, the action, really smooth. You know, standard triad locking system, Volt-like in blade play, which is nothing. Speed is pretty good. You kind of have to do a little wrist flick because the thumb plate is so far from the actual. Yeah, see, not really. Yeah, another thing that I do like about this knife is that it waves out super easy. Now, very easily. I've never tried a waved knife before, so I didn't know how I would like this. But I went to a 3D bow shoot competition. I am an archerist, if any of you are interested in knowing. I'll do a video showing my archery stuff. That'd be pretty cool. All my gear. Anyway, a guy there, he had an Emerson CQC6. Was it the 6? I don't know if it was the 6, but I'm not a very big Emerson fan, so I don't keep up with their stuff. But I tried that, and I waved it out of the pocket, and it was fantastic. I loved it. So when I saw this knife, I thought I'd try it. The price was right, and you know what? I didn't have too much to lose. I just sold a knife, so I had the funds. So, you know. Osate steel, not even made in America. I think this blade is 175 MSRP. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I think this is 175. I didn't check. I probably should have before the video, but it's an expensive blade, for me anyway. It's super expensive, especially with the size of blade I'm getting. Actual cutting edge. Now, because it's light, it's easy to maneuver, but, you know, just as I didn't think it'd take the cake for me. But for some reason, after carrying it, after playing with it for a little bit, I really like this knife. Now, you can tell a lot of thought went into the handle. Now, the epitome of a tactical knife, when people say tactical, most people think, you know, fighting situations or, you know, violence, but for me, tactical just means versatile. When I hear tactical, I hear versatile. So the epitome of a tactical blade for me is something like the Blur. It's comfortable in all grips. So there we go. And then it's not this version. Where is that version? This version, you know, you can choose to have the glass breaker on it right here. It's got jimping, but I had to modify it to make it a little sharper. Great serrations. Recurve blade just bites into everything you put it into. So yeah, this is the epitome of a tactical knife for me. But you know what? This just doesn't have that. It's not comfortable in all grips. It just isn't. So, I mean, this grip it is, but I mean, still, the fact that this is just so darn comfortable, it works for me. So, and then the flats here, just, I'm sorry about my purple fingers, by the way, but this flat here, that just does it for me. There's no, you know, that's just aesthetics here. It's not functional jimping. Kind of like the Recon Nano. You know, it's got the same thing here. But it just, I don't know. It's got the traction because of the G10 and the fact that that steel bar, you know, even when your hands are wet, it still just tracks onto it. Maybe because it's just a flat, I don't know. And like I said, the fact that this is just so darn comfortable that I'm okay with having this one grip option. Another thing I really like about the handle here, the handle scales, that impact tool wise, the best I've seen so far. Plus you have your lanyard hole option.